Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to unravel a really fascinating historical puzzle. It's one that connects three of India's most important national days, and, the solution is just incredible. It all goes back to a promise made long, long ago. So here's the big question. Why the wait? I mean, think about it. It seems a little strange, right? A country's brand new rulebook, the longest written constitution in the world, by the way, was totally finished, but it was just left sitting on the shelf for 2 whole months. Well, the reason why is an incredible story of symbolism, struggle, and a promise made decades earlier.
Okay, so to really get this, we need to look at 3 key dates. First up, August 15th, 1947. That's Independence Day, of course, freedom from British rule. Then you fast forward a bit to November 26th, 1949. That's when the huge task of writing the Constitution was finally done. But, and this is the important part, the Constitution didn't actually come into force until 2 months later, on January 26, 1950, Republic Day. That gap, right there, that's our mystery.
All right, so to solve this puzzle, we've got to rewind the clock. And we're not just going back to 1947. No, we're going all the way back to the end of 1929.
And this right here, this is our most important clue. So, in late 1929, at a major session in Lahore, leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru basically drew a line in the sand. They made this historic declaration that they would settle for nothing less than Purna Swaraj, which means complete, total independence. And to make this pledge stick, to make it real for everyone, they called on the entire nation to celebrate a symbolic Independence Day on January 26, 1930. And get this, for the next 20 years, that date became this incredibly powerful annual symbol of the fight for freedom.
So, you've got this tradition of celebrating January 26th that's really taking hold every year. But at the same time, something else absolutely monumental was happening in the background, the incredible task of writing the very soul of the new nation. 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days. Just let that sink in. That's how long it took. We're talking about nearly 3 full years of intense, non-stop work to draft the world's longest written constitution. It was just an immense effort, pulling in hundreds of the brightest minds in the country, all focused on one thing: building the framework for a modern, democratic India.
And you can really get a sense of the sheer scale of that undertaking right here. You had leaders like Dr. Rajendra Prasad and, of course, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar leading the charge, but it was hundreds of representatives debating, arguing, and refining every single article. And when it was all done, the final document was signed by 284 members. And you know what's really important? That included 15 women, who were absolutely vital in shaping the new nation. Okay, so let's nail this down. The crucial point is, by November 26, 1949, the Constitution was officially adopted. It was ready to go. The nation finally had its rulebook, the very foundation for its future.
And this brings us right to the climax of our story. With the Constitution ready and waiting in November 1949, the leaders of the day, well, they faced a massive choice, one with huge historical implications.
Seriously, just imagine the choice they had to make. On one hand, you could implement the Constitution right away, on November 26th. It's logical, it's efficient, it makes sense. But on the other hand, you have January 26th, a date that for 20 years had been the symbol of the dream of freedom for millions of people. Were they just going to let that powerful piece of history fade away? What would you do?
Well, the solution they came up with was absolutely ingenious. They decided to have a deliberate symbolic wait. So step 1, they adopted the Constitution on November 26th, which is why we now have Constitution Day. But then step 2, they waited. They paused for 2 months. By formally launching the new republic on January 26th, 1950, they didn't erase history. They built right on top of it. The date that once symbolized the promise of freedom now symbolized its fulfillment. It was a perfect transformation of the old Swaraj Day into the brand new republic.
And this is what that decision really means, what it all signifies. On January 26th, India didn't just get a new set of laws, it officially became a republic. And what does that mean? It means a nation where the ultimate power is with the people, and the head of state, the president, is elected by those people, not born into a royal family. It was the moment that supreme power was formally and forever placed right into the hands of the citizens of India.
So, that 2-month gap? It wasn't a delay at all. It was a deliberate, powerful act of remembrance. It was about weaving the memory of the long struggle for freedom into the very fabric of the new nation. It's an incredible reminder that our traditions are so much more than just dates on a calendar. They're stories, and knowing the why behind them, well, that changes everything, doesn't it?